Hey guys, this is DP Carol. I have great news today. Era of the dismal pass rate seems to be in our rearview mirror, and I'm so happy about that. I'm really proud of all of you flight instructor and professionals out there who are doing an amazing job, and I thank you for what you are doing. Great job. Applicants, you have been working hard. I just want to encourage you all to keep on learning. Your tactics for preparing for check rides have been working. So my recommended techniques to prepare for the check ride, starting with the ACS, read through your particular ACS, right? You can find it on FAA.gov. The reason to do this is what I'm required to test each applicant by. They are the standards. And what's awesome about it is they help you to know how to study. We'll go into that in detail in a minute. Okay? So use the FAA documents that are free that they provide for us. So that's the ACS, the Airplane Flying Handbook, for instance, the Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge, for instance. And if you read those books, utilize every resource you have available to you to make sure that you've thoroughly researched everything that you've read about in the ACS, then you are going to be a success. Let's talk about a particular topic today and how you can make sure you are adequately prepared for your check ride and, more importantly, for life in this area. Okay, today we have recovery from unusual attitudes. This is something you're going to find on your private pilot check ride and your instrument check ride. And I just want to remind you guys the way the ACS works. So for each task, the DPE is required to ask or cover at least one knowledge area, one risk management area, and all skills. You don't really know which one of these knowledge areas you're going to be asked, but you do need to know all of them for your own safety of flight and your own confidence in flight, right? The more you know, the more you know you can handle whatever situation is handed to you. Okay? Now, remember here at the top are codes that tell us which FAA references we can use to study these topics. So if you were to look up those codes, those mean things like the Airplane Flying Handbook, Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge, etc. So this topic is unusual attitudes. I want to skip this time to the recoveries in skills. There's only 2 items here, but the first item has a lot in it. Let me read it. And please find it in your ACS and read it for yourself. It says, applicant uses proper instrument cross-check and interpretation to identify an unusual attitude, including both nose high and nose low in flight, and apply the appropriate flight control, power input, and aircraft configuration in the correct sequence to return to a stabilized level flight attitude. What do we need to do? We need to return to a stabilized level of flight attitude, and we're required to do something with the power. Okay, those are some very important pieces of this puzzle. But what's interesting about this ACS is it doesn't tell us exactly what to do. And you're going to find that with a lot of the ACS. It just tells us the standard. The how to do part comes from the Airplane Flying Handbook, the Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge. So please, I encourage you to research that for yourself. There's no replacement for reading it yourself. It's a little bit difficult, however, to find the references for why we recover from unusual attitudes the way that we're supposed to and what is the correct order. So let me tell you where to find that. Airplane Flying Handbook, Chapter 5, Aircraft Upset and Prevention Recovery. You'll also find really important information in there about the spiral dive, which is a very related topic. In addition to the Airplane Flying Handbook, in the Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge, you could simply search for spiral dive recovery or graveyard spiral or spiral instability. And, well, sometimes reading a scary story is memorable. So that's kind of like what reading these paragraphs in the PHAC are like. But you know what? If you read a memorable story, you're gonna remember what you need to remember, okay? So The important thing for you to know is that there is a very specific order of recovery for nose high versus nose low, and there's very good reasons for them. So this isn't just a strange thing that we do for check rides that you just have to get through. It is made and intended to save you from some of the worst possible consequences that we are aware of that pilots can get into when they get disoriented, typically when they lose a useful horizon or they lose the ability to manage the aircraft on instruments successfully. Pilots have died due to these items multiple times. And so the reason the FAA has this in the ACS is to make sure the pilots are adequately prepared. So it is very important that you naturally respond appropriately to this, because if it really were to happen to you in real life, it's not a practice test, and there's going to be shock factor, some delay time, and it's not going to be potentially as gentle as your instructor set it up for you so as not to harm the airplane. So it's very, very important that you understand what to do with the throttle, what to do with the controls, etc. I'm not going to spoon feed that to you, however, because I want you to do the research yourself so that you know why and you can remember it, okay? So please dig into the PHAC and the Airplane Flying Handbook. I will put a link in the comments below to a video from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University that does a fantastic job of explaining the recoveries. For those of you who had the gumption to stick through to the end, I applaud you. There's a video there for you. But please do read, don't just watch videos. Okay. I want to thank you guys for watching this channel and for continuing to learn. I learn every day, and I really appreciate the other professionals who are learning every day right along with me. Thanks for watching, and I am cheering for you.